One. Back to Two Brothers Sports Podcast presented by RambleOnSports.com. It is Wednesday, May 22nd. We are coming to you guys right before Memorial Day weekend. We got a nice long weekend ahead of us. A lot of playoffs, a lot of sports to get through. NFL schedule released. English Premier League has been locked up. Season is over. So it's just going to be me and Sean today. Max is down with a little sickness. No, what's the band? Was it Disturbia?
Slipknot.
Slipknot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sean here, as always, keeping me correct and straight. How are we doing, my dude? We got a great weekend ahead of us.
Good, man. Yeah, first T's and P's to Max. Hopefully it's just a couple day bug for him. But yeah, I mean, excited to hop on here. A lot of things to discuss. So get right to it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So, starters, we're gonna save most of the combo for next week when Max gets back because definitely want to pick his brain. However, NFL schedule got released this past week. Not to get into like who did what for the schedule release. I think overall it's kind of lame, but let's get into just the scheduling piece. We're gonna do just quick thoughts on the Steelers, quick thoughts on the Packers, and then when Max comes back next week, we're gonna hit the whole schedule. We'll look at primetime games, Bears, in addition to our teams, and then maybe throw out some futures, some things that maybe people can take advantage of beforehand. So with that being said, Sean, what's just walk us through Steelers schedule, maybe things you're excited about. We'll get into the nitty-gritty later, but just initial thoughts. It's weird because we already kind of know the opponents. It's just the way it all kind of lays out for the most part. We already know ahead of time. But anything from
Yeah, I mean, I think what I'm excited about is there's a lane for them to get out to a pretty good record, which is something they haven't, I feel like, taken advantage of in the last few years. Now they haven't been that great of a team the last few years, but they just kind of been rise to the surface level, whatever, 8-8 or 9-8, I guess, with the news thing, the new 17 games. What I am not excited about is the end to their year. So picking up essentially from week 11, it just goes Ravens at Browns, at Bengals, Browns, at Eagles, at Ravens, Chiefs, and Bengals. So they better get out to a good start. And
yeah.
also, it's May 22nd. If Joe Burrow has a season-ending surgery again, like that's not the same Bengals team. Lamar is out. We don't know how these teams are. But on paper right now, don't love that. But whatever, it is what it is. So take on the challenge. They play in Washington, and it's just as someone who lives here in the DC area, that will be fun to get out to that game. So, but yeah, man. I mean, any kind of thoughts on that, or just you want to kick it over? Tell me what your thoughts on the Packers.
I mean, like overall, I feel like, I mean, one, nice that you got your squad in town. There's nothing better
Yes.
than at least even like, I mean, being in Richmond, it's like Charlotte, DC. If Green Bay's coming to one of those two, you got to make it out. So hype that you got a Pittsburgh game in your backyard, let alone what's the drive from DC to Pittsburgh?
It's 4 hours, pretty much right on the nose. Is
Okay,
do it all.
that's manageable. That's super manageable. So that's nice.
Mhm.
Looking forward just overall, and we'll get into later, but QB situation, question I'll have for you later. So I'll give you, we'll call it next week's homework. At what point do you think Justin Fields will be the starting quarterback for the Steelers this year, if at all? So I'll let you save that one. We'll call that a little.
Ponder on that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll put
Get
in that.
hit the books on that.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, when you got two new quarterbacks, you got to put your books in, man. You got to do your thing. I mean, opener though for you guys, I will say I'm just gonna lock it in right now. Steelers Falcons under. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know if that game's out yet, but if I
Yeah.
mean I'm just saying, like, until the Falcons prove me otherwise, and until the Steelers prove me otherwise, they will be an under team. So I guess a gentle reminder to be like, hey, Sam, come September, they're not exactly the same teams as they were last year. Just because they were under teams last year doesn't mean they're under teams this year. But it's already at 43. I bet you by kickoff that's 41 and a half, and I'll still take that. I'll give a little Stillers 21-20 because I like the way that they're looking, man. I like what y'all did in the
Yeah.
draft overall. I think I mean, that's I won't hit on the schedule as much as I would just like I think I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do. And God forbid you get Justin Fields, Najee Harris, and Jalen Warren all in the backfield at the same time. Oh yeah, not to mention George Pickens primed for a great year. So yeah, looking forward to what you guys are doing on that front. Roman Wilson, I think that's a nice little snag. There's gonna have to be between him and maybe like I guess like
They're down still an outside receiver. Like in my
I
eyes,
was
it
just
can't
gonna
be
ask that.
Van Jefferson. Like, that's I still think there's a chance they go out and make a splash trade or something like that. So
Free
well,
agency, right? That's still a thing.
yeah, but I don't really know who else is kind of out there. But one thing, I mean, you kind of touched on being the Falcons game. That's an Arthur Smith kind of reunion there, who is now the OC in Pittsburgh, and he goes back. I imagine he's not going to be welcomed with the most cheers. And then week two, the Steelers head to Mile High, where I imagine Russell Wilson will not be met with an abundance of cheers either.
And you know who's gonna use that as just ammo? The fucking GOAT, maybe one of the best coaches, and will go down as one of the most underrated coaches of all time, Mr. Mike Tomlin. I don't care what
Mhm.
anyone says. No matter what he gets accolades for, he's going to be underrated because he has taken some questionable Steelers teams to very good records, all things considered, injuries, all that stuff. Thank you for also mentioning the Arthur Smith. I was talking about it as if I didn't know that the unders were correlated between the two teams. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, if you got Arthur Smith and then Arthur Smith's old team, yeah, love that.
You still have Arthur Smith in this game, so the under applies.
Yeah, and there's one primetime game I wanted to two primetime games. You got back-to-back primetime weeks on week 7 and 8. You got home against Mr. Rogers on Sunday
Mhm.
night, and then home against the other New York team, the
The
Giants,
Giants, yeah.
following Monday. So I like that, man.
Mhm.
I mean, shoot, you might have to make a little Sunday trip on October 20th up to 8:20. I mean, take a Monday off. I don't
We'll
know what the
see.
markets are going to be telling you that time. So maybe the markets will let you take a day off. Sean never
Mhm.
stops. The guy's a grinder. Um, but yeah,
It
that's
never stops. It's
what
the Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay
Tell me
Packers.
about that.
Yeah, I can. I can. I was joking with you earlier. I just did a quick little WL, just going down the list. I did 14-3, so obviously a little bit I need to reconsider. However, I'm very high on this team. I mean, quick thing to note, we kind of knew it for the last couple of weeks. Playing the Eagles in Brazil at Sao Paulo, Corinthians Stadium, gonna be electric. That's a Friday, so that's the day after the
Mhm.
Chiefs Ravens, right? Is that the opener? Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. So you're good with playing in the Brazil game?
honestly, I don't prefer it, especially against the Eagles, but I see that the Packers are like +1.5 right now. Eagles, I think
I
they're still solid, but I'm obviously gonna
I
play
think you can make the case like sure you maybe want to play that game there than in the link. You
them.
know,
Absolutely, because it is at the Eagles regardless. So yeah, I completely agree.
correct. Yeah, it does counts as just one of your away games.
And honestly, I would probably go to the link for that game, and probably good that I don't go to the link for that game. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought about this earlier, and we'll get way more into it, but I'm just calling it now. I'm gonna call it the 252 Club, and it's gonna be every single week. I'm going to do Jordan Love, 250 plus alternative yards and 2 touchdowns passing every single week until I am proven otherwise. That is going to be my scientific method. This is going to be my experiment for the year on the Packers. Not going to play money line as much, but I will be playing that every single week, and I want to see what that does. So that's just off the rip. Other Packers games, I mean, they've got Houston at home, which is good. Um, I mean, they've got San Fran at home, also good, right? Am I looking at that the right way? Yeah, yeah, it is. Miami at home on Thanksgiving. You've got to play Detroit away, which you have to do every time. You get Philly and Brazil, so a neutral game. Tennessee at Tennessee and LA will be the two tough away games. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's pretty reasonable. I think looking at it. Oh wait, no, I did 13-4. Sorry, not 14-3. But they'll probably drop one. They'll probably drop one of the Seahawks, Saints, or like Vikings that they probably shouldn't have. It's just a rivalry game. Got them 1-1 against the Bears, 1-1 against the Lions, 2-0 against the Vikings. I think between the Colts and so they've got basically just summarize, they've got the AFC South, their division, and
Mm-hmm.
they've got the NFC West, and then a couple teams within that. So I mean, Niners going to be tough, Seattle's going to be tough, LA is going to be tough. It's Indianapolis, Tennessee. Like
You
it's going to be a tough schedule.
you got the night game on Thanksgiving.
Yes, so that's fucking awesome because I think last time they had the first game and that was great, but it was kind of tough to continue the Thanksgiving celebration when they've already
You had already had
it's
time.
4 o'clock. We haven't even eaten yet, and
Yeah,
we're celebrating
I
from
I
K.
got you.
But yeah, overall, I think 11-12 wins is probably a realistic thing. Um, I think the division is going to be competitive, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to be Detroit, Green Bay, and then I think Chicago is going to be like 2 games back, but they're still going to win like 9 games. So I could see
Mhm.
a 9-8, Green
Yeah.
Bay like an 11-6, or like a 10-7, and then Detroit's probably in that same boat. I think Minnesota will make it competitive. So I mean, overall, feeling pretty good. We will talk offline. We got to figure out which game we're gonna hit in Green Bay. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one, but we'll figure something out. But yeah, we'll get into it. Max will get back. We'll get into like futures, props, things like that. We'll give it a week for everyone to simmer down, let the market kind of level out because people are gonna overreact to certain things on the schedule release and where things are. So we'll let it level out. We'll get to it next week. But Sean, we've got some stuff going on right now, and it's the playoffs for the NBA and the NHL. So let's get into that. Um, NHL playoffs. Let's just knock that out, Sean. I know you and Max are more of our ice kings over here, but yeah,
Mhm.
I wanted to just run through basics on the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got Edmonton playing Dallas in the West, Florida and New York in the East. We'll just go with we'll start with the one you're most excited about. Which series are you most excited about and why?
All right. Can I answer this from like a personal perspective or like a sports
Yeah.
perspective?
I mean, dude, yeah, do it from
Okay. So the personal perspective, I'm more excited for the Florida Panthers and Rangers simply because it's East Coast hockey and don't have to deal with now, to be fair, they'll probably have them mostly on opposite days except for the weekend. So even when it goes to Edmonton, I imagine that most would be like a 9 p.m. start. But to get the early hockey here. But I'm more familiar with these teams too. I mean, this Rangers team has been dominant the last few years now, and they've mostly kind of honed their skill defensively and just kind of just wearing teams down, being physical. Igor Shesterkin is probably the best. Well, I shouldn't say probably is the best goalie left of the four here. But Panthers, man, I mean, something they flipped like around February of last year, and they finished. I mean, they had to go on like a win of, or essentially get points in like 10 of their last 13 games of last year to get into the playoffs. They were the last seed essentially, upset the Bruins, who had a historic year, go all the way onto the Cup, have another really good year here. I mean, they have, in my opinion, the best player on the ice in Barkov in this matchup there. So, I mean, they're a little juicy at minus 150. They're not technically the home team here if this goes 7, but I kind of just like the way that the Peas are playing right now. So, that's gonna, I think, be a chippy series for sure.
Oh
There's
yeah.
like
Oh
guys
yeah.
like Rempe and stuff on the Rangers will get, and there's a lot of guys on the Panthers that kind of Chuck that will get under your skin and stuff. The best like hockey will be Stars versus Edmonton because that is just Stars. That's open ice, just good plays, power plays that you got to watch there as well. I do like the Stars who are more 4 lines deep compared to Edmonton, who's crazy good top heavy. And if they honestly get a lot of the power play, that's how you do it. But I kind of like the Stars there as well, and they've had a little bit more rest too. But
So,
it's
but I'll say as someone who I'd say my hockey knowledge goes as far as the Hampton Park pool
mhm.
and the rollerblade league and shooters, which I never played in. I went to some of your games, but that's as far as my real genuine playing hockey understanding goes. However, you look at like you look at that front line, like I when I was watching the Edmonton Vancouver game, the game 7 last night, it was no like I didn't realize how noticeably different, and maybe it is the way the Oilers are versus some of the other teams. It is so noticeable when you get that first line of the Oilers in, the way they're fucking buzzing around,
Mhm.
passing the puck around. It's like they're on the same page. I'm like, I've never seen such a unit in sync in any sport. Like it is damn near like Barca 2000 like 15 with like
Big Tom.
Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, and like those
Yeah.
guys in the midfield where they just ping it around. It is, I never realized how noticeable it was when until you like said that and thinking about that. It's like Edmonton's top line is so far and away better than anything I've ever seen, at least just from my little experience, where I'm like, okay, like is the depth there? But I was all over that. I had a nice little within the 60-minute Edmonton plus 120. That was butter. But I love that series. I'm excited for that. So I'm glad you brought that up. So I guess while we're on Edmonton, Dallas, just looking at, and then we'll get back to Florida, New York, just looking at the odds. So for Thursday, if we're just looking at Thursday's game for Edmonton, first game, I know you usually stay away from game to game. I think
Mhm.
maybe not just in maybe more in other sports, but I know you've mentioned that. We got Edmonton plus 110 and Stars minus 130 on the money line, and then over under of 6. Overs minus 112. Anything that's scratching your itch on that game one, or are we looking more serious?
Well, yeah, I mean, sure, something. I actually think under 6 in game one of Edmonton Stars
Okay.
could be a good play, which doesn't, kind of you see Oilers and like, oh, goals, but I don't know. Like, it's this is the playoffs. I think each of these
3-2
teams
last game.
are going to be needing to kind of feel each other out a little bit there. And yeah, I kind of like under 6. What about you?
Nothing like I do kind of like Dallas at home game one. I feel like they've had more rest. I think I agree with you on the under because I got bit real hard on the Vancouver Edmonton over. I think I had over 5.5. I mean, I thought that wasn't going to hit. I almost just put more money in to hedge my bets because that was so far gone until the very end. Uh,
Mhm.
but that's every time when I look at a hockey met, like whenever I look at hockey, I'm like, oh, it should be over, and then honestly, I think unders. I'd like to. I don't have the trends or anything. I feel like overs or unders have been playing more in the hockey realm. I haven't seen that many games in at least the semis and moving on that have gone over like 7. Like
Yeah.
I feel like everything's kind of like in that 5.5 and under range.
Yeah, and sometimes too, like if you're playing that over, the team's up 1 and you just need them to get like up 2 and it ends up being like tied. And then now overtime, you're screwed because you needed 2 goals to get over whatever your number was, and you're not going to get that.
Regardless, yep, yep. I agree with you there. Yeah. So you said, I mean, I know you said leaned a little Dallas for the series minus 125, Edmonton plus 105. Are you leaning kind of Dallas with that 125 or
Yeah, I would lean Dallas with that one. Honestly, both favorites. I lean Panthers in the series and Stars in the series.
okay, cool. I do agree with you on the minus 150 on Florida. I am gonna look. There's a couple of things that we might talk about throughout this pod where I might have to lock up a nice little multi-sport parlay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the Dallas as well. I think it was kind of like Edmonton got to this point and it's like great. Now it's like, all right, like I don't know. I agree with you there. So I like that. The one thing I will say on that series before we go to the next series with New York and Panthers. McDavid, top points leader for the series, plus 135.
I'm gonna
Any?
go no. If
Okay,
anything,
no. Let
I
me
would
see.
maybe go Zach Hyman.
Okay, let me pull that up real quick. Series most points. Hyman would be most points would be Hyman plus 1500.
Okay. What's the first few?
McDavid plus 135, Draisaitl 310, Bouchard 800, Robertson 850, Heiskanen 1100, then Hyman. And this is
Okay.
points, not goals.
Yeah, no, I know, I know. I still think
Hyman is plus 350 on goals
for
though. So I
goals,
like
yeah. For
that.
goals, yeah.
I do like that. I like that, dude, though. I like that because I went with McDavid in the last game and he didn't get, I think he got one. I don't even think
No,
he got a
he only got
single
one
point.
shot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think he got a single point. So hey, if they're gonna it's the NBA thing, right? It's where they ISO one guy and there's like, hey, we're gonna take you out of the game, but we'll just let everyone else score. So
Exactly.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all, Sean. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, keep that in the notes. So I'll just read through. I know you said minus 150 on Florida, you're there. Game one is tomorrow, today, for those listening. Florida minus 115, Rangers minus 105, over under is 5.5. Anything you like on game one?
Nothing I love. I know I'm playing Florida for the series, but I do feel like the Rangers probably get game one. But, I wouldn't lock anything down there.
Yeah, low key. I actually don't hate like a Panthers plus 1.5 and then like a Wolves money line tomorrow.
Mhm.
I don't hate that one bit. Okay. I don't have I was probably gonna just go Florida. I don't have anything. But I will say for the series, one thing I did like, I think this series could go to seven.
Yeah,
So
I could definitely
seven
see.
total games exactly is plus 210. I don't hate.
Oh, no, I don't like that either.
Yeah. So my two like series picks, aside from I don't have anything on Edmonton, Dallas, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna go game by game on that one. I will go with you on the Florida minus 150 for the series. But yeah, 7 games total exact, and then McDavid. So that's about all I got. I know hockey's got the ice advantage and all that shit, so it's like a whole.
Mhm.
It's so close. That's what I love about hockey, though. It's like the odds are usually like game to game. Like
Yeah,
it's same with baseball. It's like it's hard to get like if you're
you're not
minus
getting a lot of like
300,
minus 260s or something.
yeah, minus 260s are like still like you're just like, all right, well, I might as well play. It's like Clayton Kershaw against like the Cubs when they won like 60 games, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, let me hear that. All right, anything else hockey, or shall we go to the NBA?
All right, go to the NBA.
All right, sweet. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a quick little breather before we get into NBA.
Yeah.
Let's shout out our EPL teams. All right. We
Okay.
before we get into late, Sean, we're gonna go with you first, dude, because Arsenal, incredible season.
Mhm.
Bucks City, City just manages to win like the last like
Yeah.
25 games. But just give us your thoughts. You threw out some text in the group, but if you're gonna put an official statement out there
Yeah,
for the
man.
world, give us
I'm
that.
definitely, newer to footy in general, but it was so fun, especially after watching Arsenal last year, where just a complete disaster. Coming down the stretch there, the opposite here, where they something about right at the beginning of the this calendar year. I mean, still in the season, just flips a switch, and we're an unreal team for like the last like 16 games. I mean, it was so fun watching them. So good defensively, just up front, moving Kai Havertz up to. I mean, taking out some of the I don't need two statistics and stuff here. Just a beautiful brand of soccer footy to watch there. Like the passion of the fans. I can't wait to get out to the Emirates. Like, oh, just, I mean, it sucks, of course, to get 89 points and not win the league there. I mean, shout out to City. They were incredible this year. But I mean, that team should be so, so proud. And more importantly, everyone there is young. Everyone who's very important to kind of the core of that team is pretty much already extended and they're under contract there. So excited to see where things go. Just a lot of memorable moments. Declan Rice is just an unreal player. I mean, so many guys to get shout out, but yeah,
I love it. I love it, man, dude. And I feel like the Havertz roller coaster needs to be documented. Like I feel like it needs to be all right. The not just the social media, just like the team morale, like almost like an engagement survey where it's like one of those things needs to be studied. And so, oh, I get laggy. I think my Wi-Fi might be bugging. It's one of us, but
yeah. I think it's mine. I think it's mine. Are you able to hear me when I talk?
yeah, yeah, I hear you, but I feel like I'm moving slow too, so we'll figure something out.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Havertz stuff is something that needs to be studied. I think just his you put Odegaard on the open market right now for just all of footy, he'd probably go for 220. Like he'd be the highest paid attacking mid, center mid. Like that's the thing with Odegaard is he can be an attacking mid. He can also hold if he needs to. But you guys already
Yeah.
like I guess like
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like he could do at like a Villa, but like with Arsenal, it's perfect because he gets to just do his thing. And then you have fucking Saka, and then I think low key the most underrated player you guys have had at least the last probably 10 to 15 games is Trossard.
I guess.
Dude,
I was
Trossard
just gonna say,
is
like,
so
Acho Trossard was incredible in this final stretch of the season, and it can't, the goals and everything. You can't go without saying the most clean sheets. I mean, the Saliba Gabriel pairing, and even David Raya out there didn't have to face many shots because just the defense is awesome. I mean, Ben White, it's just masterclass. So many positions on the field.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And honestly, it's one of those things too. Is like we're starting to compete now as villains to the Arsenal Gunners. Like, hey, we're in Champions League now next year.
Mhm.
Not the segue unless you have any last comments, but
Yeah.
overall, yeah, my kids, they're gonna be back. And I think this is a good year for City to be. I mean, Pep might leave. They're going to still be solid no matter who they get, but 5 years in a row is impossible. It's a good year for Arsenal to kind of tune up. I think Liverpool's they're solid. They're really good. They got a lot of good young guys, and they're always good. But at the
Yeah.
same time, their top guys are starting to get old. Salah, Van Dijk. So might be a good opportunity for Arsenal this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Also, a good opportunity for the young villains. Unai Emery. I don't know if he got coach of the year or who got coach of the year, but he should get some sort of coaching award for what he did with Villa. You look at what Stevie Gerrard and Dean Smith did before, which is like basically right when I started. I was like Dean Smith fan, and then he got gone. Gerrard, who was a childhood like guy I love playing FIFA with, gone. And then we get this Unai Emery guy, and he just turns the whole program around. So love seeing that. He's bringing in some guys. We might bring in Araujo from Barca. We might bring in Barkley from Luton Town as some bet presence. We're Olise from Crystal Palace. So I don't know. I think Villa is primed for a good offseason to gear up for a Champions League run. Not expecting much from Champions League run. I do expect Villa to be in that top 4 to 6 range every year going forward as long as Unai Emery's there. So props to the villains. Great fucking season.
Absolutely.
Much more enjoyable to watch than my first season as a fan. But yeah, Unai's the man, and we're just building, man. We got the money now, so ready to make moves. All right, NBA talk.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. We were both lagging, so I was like, all right, let me see if he's got anything to say real quick. Apologies, anyone. I think we're both working with some shit Wi-Fi. I'm about to move out of my crib.
Yeah. Gotta pay the bills here.
So I know Taylor's over there cutting cords. No, she's not. But yeah, no, we'll be all right. NBA talk now. So we'll start with the game that's already going on. Pacers are down 10 right now to the Celtics, 37-47 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. That was last time I could refresh my screen, but that's where we're at right now. We'll keep rolling with it. I think we were both pretty much on Boston game one. I did post something with some series props and things, so I'm just gonna hit on those real quick, Sean, and then we'll get into it. Not a lot with the Pacers Celtics just because it's already game one's underway and the series props already done. So just want to reiterate my post. I've got Indiana plus 2.5 on the series spread at plus 130. I think it goes to 6. I think the Pacers at least they win one at home and they probably snag one in Boston or a second one at home. I think Boston wins 4-2. Don't think it goes to 7, but I think Indiana wins 2 plus 130 to win 2 games. I don't hate that one bit. So give me that. Um, Boston to win the series 4-2 exactly, plus 400. And then I have over 5.5 total games at plus 145. So yeah, like I like the Indiana plus 2.5 because God forbid they do something over 5.5 games. Indiana might be able to make it close overall. Celtics 4-2, still a good little bet there. So I think what's tough for me is that it's hard for me to just sit here. I know Boston's been rolling. I've been talking with Luke Flanagan on Instagram before this podcast, who's diehard Boston, and he did not like the disrespect I had. However, they got to be tested at some point. Yes, they're good, but Indiana's also played Bucks without Giannis, New York without Brunson. Essentially, this game 7. No Mitchell Robinson, OG out for 2 games, Josh Hart out for a game. I don't think Indiana gets it done, but I think they make it competitive because they have enough shooters on the team and enough depth to match up with Boston. Overall, Boston has better depth because when they get KP back in the NBA Finals, it's going to be a whole different story. But just wanted to reiterate that. I've got Siakam over 20.3 points per game in the series, minus 115, and Derek White over 16.5 games points per game in the series as well. Not that either of this is going well the first game, but just wanted to reiterate those picks. And then game one picks, I had Jaylen Brown under 34.5 PRA and Nemhard over 17.5 PRA. Yeah. I'm gonna shut up for a second. Sean, any thoughts on Boston and Indiana
I mean,
series?
hey, this you run with the NBA. I don't have too many thoughts other than just honestly hearing your expertise. Is you watch and know much more ball here than I do.
Fair, fair. Yeah, and I mean it's good. It's a good game to game because when you look at like Boston's like minus 9.5, 10 each game, good way to try and find some value on
Yeah,
a game without having
absolutely.
to cover points. Because I feel like, and you probably have seen this multiple times, but it's one of those series where it's like it's kind of like how Denver and Minnesota was until game 7, where it was like we win by 30, y'all win by 30, we win by yeah, and I hate that shit. But I don't know if it's gonna be like that this series, but I think overall Boston's just rolling. So I have them winning the series, but to make it cute and competitive, give me Indiana plus 2.5.
Okay.
If they win 4, I'm not gonna like be crying about it. I'd be like, thank God. Okay, good. They're that good. Confirm that what I'm thinking. But right now I've been a little off on that. So we're just gonna leave that. I think overall it's really Porzingis' health and then the Siakam Turner Porzingis Warford matchup. Tatum's gonna get his, Halliburton's gonna get his. So it's like Indiana's, you know, second team versus the other group. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So Dallas, Minnesota. Before I go on a rant, anything you got on Dallas, Minnesota? What are you looking forward to? Any quick thoughts?
Yeah, I guess just from a more casual NBA fan, I'm interested on the Ant story arc here. seems like he's on a little special run and taking games over here. I mean, it's two kind of teams you probably didn't necessarily expect to hear. So yeah, man, it was exciting. But definitely interested to hear your thoughts and please go on your rant.
Fair, fair. Yeah, Flanagan's actually hitting me up as we're talking right now because he's like, dude, give us some props. Because they're rolling right now, and he's like, all of this without Porzingis. But yeah, dude, I am the West is gonna be way better. The West is gonna be way fucking better. I don't know what's going on with my internet, dude. Because my shit's going slow as fuck too now. Um, so I'm gonna text Taylor and see what's going on with the internet. Um, but yeah, overall, dude, I'm all over Minnesota. After watching that Nuggets series, I like Dallas. I like what Kyrie and Luca can do. Sean, tell me who, other than Derek Lively, is going to match up with Carl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid.
That's a
Uh,
tall team.
yeah, very fucking tall, very big team. Oh yeah, Nikhil Alexander Walker. Shout out the Hokies.
Shout out the
Um,
Hokies.
Shout out the Hokies. Mike Conley will be back. Oh yeah, Sean, who's that one guy for Minnesota who's like a fucking dog? Who I'm trying to think of. What's his name? Is it Anthony Edwards? Forgetting about Anthony fucking Edwards, dude. They doubled him all of game 7. He still ended up with 16, like 6-6. They won by 8. They came back
Mhm.
from 20 down against the defending champs, the New York Knicks, the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Jokic, Gordon, Murray, the whole squad. I don't even care what's going on with Denver. They had it at home. Minnesota comes in 20 down away in game 7, wins by 8. There is no fucking way and Sean, you know I love Luca. You know I've been all on Dallas every
Mhm.
series.
Yeah, you have. You really have.
This is where the buck stops. The buck stops here. Minnesota is that team. And if it's Minnesota and Boston, Sean, I don't know, man. I might be going Minnesota. I love this team so much. Every
Mhm.
time I think they're down and out, they find a way to win. You got Anthony Edwards putting up 16 points in a game 7. They're still winning. It'll take a couple games for Dallas to figure out who the fuck is going to guard him because it's not Luca and it's not Kyrie. And you're going to have Nikhil Alexander Walker, who's one of the more underrated defensive players on Kyrie. Luca, you're going to throw Jaden McDaniels on because that's going to give them length. Oh yeah, Derek Lively. Yeah, we'll give you Cat. And then Rudy Gobert is just going to patrol the fucking paint. You guys thought you got by your first defender. Oh yeah, Rudy Gobert, one of the best defensive players of his era. Like, come on. Give me all the beans. I fucking love Minnesota. Minus 170 on the series,
Mhm.
minus 1.5 on series spread. So a 4-2 win.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I think a 4-2 win gets them at plus 125. I think I hate this one, but 6 games exactly is plus 210. I don't think it goes to 7. Like, I mean, Ant to be the leading scorer of the series, plus 130, because Luca and Kyrie are going to take turns. Like one of them's going to go off, then the other one's going to go off. They don't usually both go off. If they do, then that's going to be trouble, and they could, and they'll probably win a couple games because of that. But they're not going to win 4 games against this Minnesota team. After watching them, just honestly, like they
Yeah.
dismantled Denver in game 6. They beat them by what, 45, and then they beat them by 8 after a 20 point. Yeah. Give me everything. And while I'm at it, Sean, let me just do this because fuck Boston. And fuck whatever they think they have right now. I'm going with the Minnesota Timberwolves to win the NBA Finals right now before it gets any worse because
I
they're
bet.
I'm doing it and I'm pulling it up right now if this goddamn computer will just load. Series props, we're going with it. We're going all right, fucking team futures actually. Yeah, we're going to Minnesota. I think plus 275 was the last time I saw it. I will confirm once this locks in. If this uploads, plus 280 now, Sean. Lock me in. Minnesota T-Wolves plus 280 to win the NBA Finals. I love all of it. I'm all about Minnesota. Boston, Ben Rollin,
Mhm.
Heat, Cavs, Indiana, great. You know what you haven't had? You haven't had two 7-footers, a guy who is as explosive as any player on that court, aside from your guys. You have enough depth to deal with the Celtics, which has been the whole problem with dealing with the Celtics is the depth. They have guys that can guard everyone. I mean, give me 10 guys on Minnesota versus Boston. I think they can take them and they're tougher. And I think Boston's been just a little too hoity-toity for my liking right now, and I hope that Indiana gives them 6 games so that they turn their shit on and we get the best that we can. But I think Minnesota gets it done. I think Dallas can be there next year. I think Dallas can be there the year after that. Until Luka becomes 40 years old, they can be in the same moment that they are now. But right now, Minnesota is at that moment with Gobert and everyone that they have. I think it's too good of a storm to be true right now.
Yeah,
So I'm all over Minnesota.
that'd be quite the Hollywood script.
It would be. That would be. And also, Sean, another one. I just got to throw out a fun prop. So plus 2,500 for a buzzer beater to happen in either of the series. And of course, buzzer beater means
Yeah, what
that
are
there is
they?
no time on the clock. There's
Okay,
no opportunity to inbound the ball. So 0 seconds on the clock. Plus 2,500. I might sprinkle a dinkle on that.
all right,
Nothing crazy. Nothing
that's a
crazy.
fun one.
It is a fun one. So that's all I got for NBA. I mean, if uh, like I think Boston's odds are now just gone. So beans now that we're recording. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I mean it's a good. I'm certain you have me leaning very much. The Minnesota play.
dude, it's defense wins championships. I mean, dude, they're efficient on defense. Boston's super efficient on offense. So I don't know. That would be
That would be
honestly,
yeah.
Boston Celtics would be such a good fucking series. It could go to 7 easily, and I hope it does. I hope it does.
That,
So, yep,
that would
I
be
love it.
sick.
Love it. So just quick update on the game. Boston's up 2 now with 3 minutes left in the second quarter. So there's a game to be had. There's a game to be had. So we'll get into that later. Enough with the NBA. Sean, let's get into our bread and butter right now, man. We had a good little weekend last weekend. I only hit a T30. I was damn near 2 strokes away or 1 stroke away from Brooks hitting a T20. Uh, some close other things, but thoughts on PGA Championship? Couple different storylines. Just just run me through what you were going through watching this past weekend, and then let's get into Charles Schwab.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the first thing is Scotty Scheffler incident. I mean, Friday morning was one of the craziest Twitter days of all time because you have your niche kind of golf Twitter mixing in with just the fun meme Twitter. I mean, the guy is literally in the cell stretching. He's got the orange jumpsuit picture, and then gets out to his tee time and shoots 66. You can't make that shit up. I mean, it's unbelievable. So I mean that's the number one story. We'll always remember this as the PGA Championship that Scotty Scheffler got arrested. I mean, two. I'll get to two. Just good. Like we already knew. Like and we've talked about at length how good Xander is, and you can go to the stats of how many just like top tens in majors, and he's already won I think double digit times like across the different tours here. I mean, he's obviously been a consistent top five player in the world, but he's not, the Rory or Scotty or Brooks or even Rahm at times that we've talked about because he hadn't been able to pull a major down. And certainly there've been times even in the PGA Tour and signature events where he wasn't able to, have the shine on Sunday. So, good for Xander to just go out and get that done. I mean, that was He did earn it too. Like, it wasn't a given to like,
Oh, he earned
I
that,
mean,
dude.
the show that Hovland and DeChambeau put on, that pairing, that group was much must watch TV on Sunday. I mean, that putt that Brooks made on 18, excuse me, that DeChambeau made on 18 there was just something I'll remember for a while. I wish the course would have played harder. It is what it is. I mean, Pinehurst will be a real test for the U.S. Open, but I mean, overall, just an awesome finish and a very enjoyable weekend, and it's particularly Sunday to watch.
I mean, dude, and so Bryson doing the birdie on 18, and then Xander hitting the go ahead.
Yeah,
Like that was so, dude.
and the honestly, the shot, Xander's second shot, where he has to hit that ball well above his feet because he's standing in the bunker. And for most people listening who played golf, know how difficult that shot would be to hit straight. So, I mean, not only did he hit it straight, but he got it up there 250 odd yards so that he had a relatively easy uphill chip. That I'm sure he was nervy as hell over top of that. But to go up and down from, man, just hats off.
Sean, I don't think if I was Xander in that bunker shot, if I teed it up and hit it with my driver, I couldn't hit that
Yeah,
tee.
that's
Couldn't
that's
have
a
hit that.
yeah,
Like seriously, that was absurd. That was insane.
really
I
was.
was sweating that because I cashed out of a New York Knicks Pacers bet, and I'm like, the Knicks aren't winning this fucking game. So I cashed out, threw it on Xander, and made up I just put it in enough time to make up my bet. I think I lost like $2.50 or whatever. It was like I was like, okay, thank God, because Xander balled out. I mean, Scheffler. Hovland made a run. I mean, Morikawa, he didn't even play that bad on Sunday. He just didn't.
No. I
Okay, okay. Go
my problem when everyone was going low on Sunday for Morikawa to not get his first birdie until 18, that was pitiful, man. That was, I mean, every time they'd have to turn the camera to him with a birdie putt, you just knew it wasn't going in. I mean, he did not have now we talked pre, and when I picked him to get top 20, I was kind of like, I'd already written this guy off, kind of during last year, and I took him, being like, all right, we're seeing something. So did he win me my bet? Yes. Do I think anything different of him post this? No, I think exactly he's what he is right now. Probably the seventh best golfer in the world, but I mean, this is not a guy that I'm going to pick to win a major, at least, until I don't know, at least in the foreseeable future.
okay. Great question. Are you gonna pick him this weekend? Because it's not a major.
Possibly, very possibly might pick him. So this weekend we go back to the heart of Texas in the Dallas Fort Worth area at Colonial. Now, Colonial, they play this every year right after last year's event. Totally ripped up the course, all new grass and stuff like that. So this might be one of the first times it's playing since its renovation. It's a week after a major. It's not a signature event. So on paper, you would think that it wouldn't get that good of a field, but it's a pretty good field here. One, it's in the half of these guys' backyard. Half of them live in like Scottsdale, and the other half of them live in like, Dallas Fort Worth area there. So I mean, a lot of these guys are like Scotty Scheffler sleeping at home. But lucky for us, and I think it's the cut is 64 or 65 in ties this week. But what are your some plays? What are your some plays, Sam?
Say so what else about the course? Anything we need to know in terms of what kind of guy is capable of
Mm,
winning? Or is this just kind of a crapshoot because it is post major and you've got that?
I think exactly that because a lot of these guys are coming in with their head kind of, they're tired, they're maybe not as locked in for this. So, like, it's not going to surprise me if not a huge name wins this. I think Emiliano Grillo, Max's boy, won this event last year. Adam Shank, who's been a guy I picked, I think finished second in it last year. So, I mean, Scotty's what, like minus 250 to win this event. Do I expect him to win this? I don't. I don't think he's going to win this. I think he's got a bunch of other
Right.
stuff. He's got a baby at home. He's probably going to, after this event, take off every week up until the U.S. Open there. But
How about this? Can we compromise?
nothing crazy about the course. Like it's pretty flat, little water.
Can we compromise on a Scotty T5 at minus 140? I think we can compromise on
I
that.
mean, like likely. Like I think he hasn't
It's
finished.
not dead heat. If it's not dead heat,
Yeah,
then
like
I
I think
think,
he's finished like third and second in the last two times he's played this event.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at because plus 280 is where he's at.
I mean, you put
That's
Scotty
not
4 days against this
not
field,
worth.
he is going to end up in the top 10 and very likely in the top five.
Yep, yep, I like that. Okay, cool, because that answers one of my props. There's a couple guys I did some Morikawa. You kind of already.
Yeah. Do you want to just run through your plays?
I was gonna say, well, we'll go back and forth, but yeah, let's do that. How about this though? Let me start with some other props, just non because we do our outright T20 30 first round leader matchup, and I got some other props. So let me run these by you first, and then let's get into the nitty gritty on our picks. So Sepp Straka, top European plus 500, all about the septic tank this
Mhm.
week. I think you get some guys out. I think Scotty, like he said, I think there's a good opportunity for this guy to make. I mean, he's been playing good golf, and so to get a
And
win
didn't
one
do that
here,
great at the PGA Championship, so might be coming in a little chip on the shoulder.
I love that. I love that because I'm trying to pull back up that European was not. It wasn't like a crazy odds. Like I think he was like third. Let me pull it back up. I think he was in my screen uploads fast enough. He was the top
Yeah,
European,
it's
but
probably him and Aaron Rye and Justin Rose.
yep, and Dietrich, Thomas Dietrich. But Dietrich is also plus 550.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't hate that at all.
yep. Minwoo Lee to be the best Oceania. Is it Oceania? Is it
The
Oceania?
Oceania.
Is it Oceania or Oceania?
Oh, I don't. I guess I don't actually know.
All right, either way. Minwoo Lee to be top. We'll say Oceania because ocean, right? That's just Oceania. I don't know. We'll say Oceania plus 165 either way. And Minwoo Lee's going to be Adam Scott, Cam Davis, and Ryan Fox. So that's the
Mm.
Oceania. I saw a big guns parlay, and I'm trying to pull it back up. It was it was either Scheffler, Morikawa, or Spieth to win the tournament versus the field at plus 170.
What's the field? Or can you not take it?
Everyone else.
No,
I
no.
think
What's the odds in the field?
let me
Or is the bet
pull it.
just for one of those three guys to win?
No, the field was an option.
Because
I'm trying to pull it up.
I'm in fade Jordan Speed mode
Minus
until I let you know
250.
otherwise.
Minus 250. But I'm more going Morikawa Scheffler is what I was thinking. Spieth is just a nice little add-on, just in case. All right, and then the last one of the random props. Hole in one to happen in the tournament in the 4 days, plus 110. Someone's
Well,
got to hit
I
on.
think I cut out a little bit there. I
Yep.
apologize.
Yep. So hole in one
Mhm.
in the tournament. Doesn't matter which day, just the entire tournament. There's a hole in one
Yeah.
plus one.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it. I mean,
There's there's a hole in one last week.
exactly. So
Big field.
uh awesome. Awesome. All right, so that's it for props. All right, Sean, let's get into the picks. Max
Okay.
will unfortunately have to pick whatever he'll have to fucking figure it out. He'll text us. That's what happens when you don't get on the pod. But let's start with matchup first. Sean, I'm gonna let you go because I have a couple options. I have
You
one.
go. I'll be honest. I didn't have necessarily kind of like all my matchup top 30 and top 20. So you run through the matchup. I mean, I'm my top 30, 20 winner here, but
Okay. Well, how about this? I'll throw you one, two, three, four. One, two. I'll throw you four, and you got to pick one,
Okay.
and then I'll pick the other. I'll pick one of the other ones. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So tournament matchup. All right. So Austin Eckroat over Batia
Hmm.
minus. So I
Okay.
like that a lot. I think Eckroat's going to be real solid.
Yeah.
Uh, Finau over Harry English plus 100. I think Finau. This could be so just like I think Straka could win. I think this is a good tournament for Finau to win. Good
Okay.
way to get a win under
This
his
would be
belt.
the type of tournament that he wins, kind of a
Yeah,
sleeper
exactly.
after a major.
Yeah, and he's been playing good golf, so he played solid last week.
Hmm.
Good opportunity for him. I'll just say it actually. I'm gonna take this one, so you can't take this one.
Sure.
But I'll give you another one. I'm gonna go Tom Kim over Christian. Or no,
Zaynut.
sorry. Nope, nope, wrong name. Sorry. Tom Kim over Taylor Moore.
Okay.
Uh, minus 110. Taylor Moore's playing good golf. This is a fade of a fade. I kind of like Taylor Moore. I'm gonna fade
Yeah.
myself because I have not hit a matchup in a long time. Um, as anyone who has been betting on that, hopefully not too many, but anyone who's been listening knows I'm not good at matchups. So I'm gonna go with that. So a little Mongolian reversal, you might call it, Sean. Um, and then the last option I'll give you a Tommy Hogue over Bazin. What, say it again.
Yeah, Zaynut. No, those are
Zayn.
my boys. Yeah, I
You
won
like
some.
that?
I won on some Taylor Moore last week, so I'll stay out of that. Give me. He was in my DFS lineup last week. Oklahoma State boy. Give me Austin Eckroat over Akshay.
Oh,
Eckroat's been playing well. He's imagine he's from this part of the world, so I'm sure he's going to feel comfortable.
perfect. I will mark that down. Awesome. And then all right, sweet. Well, first round leader. I kind of I'm torn. Let me double check the odds now because maybe they've changed. It's hard not to go Scotty Scheffler. I feel like he could just come out and just say fuck all you guys.
Good.
Uh, but I'm not gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with a guy who is capable of winning. I don't know if he's gonna win, but I'm gonna go with Tony Finau at plus 3,500 as my first
Okay.
round leader.
All right.
I think, I think, I think he's gonna have a good day. Uh, I think whether he wins or not, I don't know. He's capable of having a big day.
Mhm.
So I'm Finau plus 3,500. Straka for the sake of it is plus 5,000. Don't know if you have anything for first round
Yeah,
leader.
I do. Give me
Fire away.
Give me Top Gun Maverick McNeely. Maverick McNeely at plus 5,500.
Woo.
Have been having a sneaky pretty good year. He went low early in the tournament last week there. I mean, he's the guy that would definitely could get way out to a lead on Thursday and then kind of fizzle out and have a, you know, T37 finish by the end of the tournament. But I like the odds that I'm getting there for a guy to a hot start usually.
I like that. T30 range. I've already talked about him. You got him on a matchup, so hopefully I'm not taking your thunder here. Are we just gonna both go Eckroat at T30 at
You
plus
going,
110?
you going Necro to T30?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going Eckroat at T30 plus 110.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I have a hard time not doing that. I have to have some kind of Eckroat. I like him a lot, and I think T30 is good. Who you
Gotcha.
got for T?
We go. It's not too long of a course, so give me the lefty waggle, Brian Harmon at top 30. His iron game's too good. Minus 115. I can get him at here.
I like that. I mean, that's crazy sauce, dude. That is crazy sauce. Okay, so 220. I am trying to pull up the odds just to make sure that my guy is in that range. Yeah, Sean, I'm actually gonna do something similar to you. Um, Actually, fuck it. No, because I already talked about it. I was gonna go Brian Harmon T20. I'll probably still play it.
Sure.
Harmon T20 at plus 150. But I'm gonna go with someone a little different, someone who's been playing good golf, a little bit cheesier on the odds, but give me Max Homa plus 100.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I honestly, I was about to play like a couple different dudes, and then that kind of struck out at me, so I'm gonna go with that.
All right. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, Finau plus 130 is also really nice. I actually really like that. I just don't like playing a first round leader and then a T30 because usually I'm banking on drop off.
Yeah. Got you. All right. My 20, going back to the old well, Tom Hoagie. I'm just going with good iron players here in this play. I like this. Not that big of a field. This is the type of event where he goes low.
Bro, he's been playing really well.
Just a birdie fest.
He really has been. He's been absolutely on fire. Okay. All right. What are we
All
at?
right.
Out.
One left.
Yep. John, you give me your outright winner
All
first.
right. I will. I will. I'm going to go who's also kind of like essentially a rookie on the first off. Are you able to hear me?
Yep.
I want to make sure that I'm not bugging out right now.
Audio's been good. Our video's been slightly laggy,
All
but
right, I will assume that you can.
it's my way.
Okay, all right. So he was on. I'll just run quick here. I know we're trying to get to the second half of the basketball game. All right, so he was also like Ludwig, a rookie on the Ryder Cup team. DP World guy now is had some success like the Open before. Thinks his rookie year on the PGA Tour. Nikolai Højgaard at plus 11,000. This is the type of event that I talked about where I think it's not going to be a name that everyone is familiar with. So give me Nikolai Højgaard at plus 1,100 to go get his first PGA Tour win because it's going to come. He's too good.
11,000. Sorry, Sean. Yeah, 11,000.
11,000.
I love it, dude. He's been playing solid golf too.
Yeah. He's down there with the Eric Cole, and Emiliano Grillo's of the world. I mean, Emiliano Grillo won this event last year. Is at the same odds. So I think this is the type of tournament you might as well play some long shots. Now, Scotty Scheffler wins. I'm sorry, but
I mean, dude, fuck anyone who, whatever, dude. I'm with you there, Sean. And on that note, I'm gonna go with someone who we've talked about a little bit. Someone I don't technically have a piece of on this card just yet. We're going with the septic tank. We're going with Sepp Straka at plus
let's
4,000.
let's get the septic tank a win. Love it, dude.
He's not 11,000, but he's still a 40 to 1, or what is it, 4 to 1? No, 40 to
Yeah,
1.
41.
Yeah, 40 to 1. I like it. I agree with you there, man. I like Harmon. I like Hoagie. I like Straka.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I did have
Lead.
a make cut parlay.
Oh, let's hear that. Make
Well,
cut
so it
parlay.
already included Harmon, Finau, and Hoagie. It
Okay.
had the make cut king of this year, Mark Hubbard, who, by the way, flirted up at the top of all the way till Saturday uh, in the PGA Championship. Mark Hubbard
Yep.
and Taylor Moore, all to make the cut. Yep. So I can. So again, that's Harmon, Finau, Hoagie, Mark Hubbard, and Taylor Moore at plus 317, all to make the cut.
I love that, dude. Hell yeah. Because odds are, if I'm playing Tom Kim over Taylor Moore will absolutely make the cut.
Here's a way to hedge your bet.
Yes, exactly. And I'm all about Finau, Harmon, and Hoagie and Hubbard. Dude, there's another not to like we've been talking about, but I gotta pull up this matchup if I can. There's a Hubbard matchup that I really liked. I was gonna bring it up, but let me see if I can pull it real quick. Um, oh, and then did I say Scotty wire to wire? Did I announce that one
Saying it
already?
right now.
Plus 1800. Just if you like, if Scotty's gonna win plus 280, that's not getting shit done. So if you can do a full plus 1800, all right, let me see though. Now I got Hubbard up here. Where was it? Mark Hubbard over Aaron Rye. That's a good matchup. Minus 110. It's a coin flip.
You like Aaron Rye though too.
I know. I knew you were gonna say that. That's why I was
I
like,
almost picked him as my top 30 guy.
I
But
love it.
I didn't feel as safe.
Aaron Rye's been balling,
Also,
man.
shout out Adam Shank. I like Adam Shank at this event too, if you can fit him in.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, we can fit that in. We can figure out some shit. We should have like a if this guy doesn't win, this guy will.
Good.
Like two. Because like, geez, we're throwing darts at a fucking board. Other than Scotty, it's just darts at a board. Sweet dude, man.
All
Well,
right,
that's all.
brother.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was gonna say, what's up, brother?
Get
What's
get
up,
get
brother?
get us out of here
Um,
right before start of some second half.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's
Anything else
perfect
you got
time.
to add?
No, no, let's get after it. Let's have ourselves a good little weekend. Happy Memorial Day. What are you doing?
Happy
Where are you
Memorial Day.
going?
I'm gonna go down to the lake. I know you're going to a lake as well, so
Lake time for
big time for the little summer action.
I love it. I love it. And we got no UFC, so that's also Max. Max is like, all right, I can take the week off. We don't got UFC. Next week we got UFC 302. I can promise you he's gonna have a Dustin Poirier play against Makachev. 302. I'll let him tell you that next week. Sean, we're gonna get into more futures, NFL schedule stuff, and get into the nitty-gritty next week. But dude, let's have ourselves a good little weekend. You have fun at the lake. I'll have fun at the lake.
You too,
Let's send
brother.
some pics. Thanks everyone
All
for
right.
listening.
Abs, thanks.
And let's have a good weekend.
You
Wow.
too. Happy Memorial Day.
Yes. Love you guys.